The leading edge is ablating away and forming this shield-like shape.
Scientists are constantly in search of items or places that will tell us more about our universe. These discoveries can be artifacts, maps, and even new planets. Join us as we look at 15 concerning objects that are not from this planet. Number 15. The map. For years, scholars have been fascinated and perplexed by the Piri Reis map of 1513. The chart's seemingly accurate details of the recently discovered North and South American continents, as well as the plotted lines, give the impression that it was created by a cartographer ahead of his time. Furthermore, the map appears to depict Antarctica, which most historians agree was not discovered by Europeans until 1820. As a result, the map has inspired myths and legends. Some argue that the map is far ahead of its time. Others believe it is proof that aliens created it while orbiting the Earth. There have been theories about an earlier discovery of Antarctica and even the existence of pyramids on the frozen continent. The Piri Reis map story combines reality and fantasy. It is an ancient document that has fueled modern mysteries. While paranormal enthusiasts have embraced the Piri Reis map, some scholars have dismissed it as a hoax. Some cartographers have pointed out that Van Daniken's proposed azimuthal projection was inaccurate. Others have noted that the written Turkish language on the map does not correspond to the Arabic writing used by the Ottomans in the 16th century. However, many of the map's questions may have been answered by the Piri Reis himself. He wrote in a handwritten note found with the map that it was a compilation of information and details found on other existing maps at the time. Modern scholars agree that the map corresponds to the information available to early 16th century explorers and cartographers. Number 14. Oumuamua artifacts. Origin of our solar system's first known interstellar visitor could be violent. The enigmatic Oumuamua, discovered zipping through the inner solar system on October 2017, is most likely a fragment of a bigger body broken apart by gravitational forces during a near pass of its original star. This tidal fragmentation scenario not only accounts for the large population of asteroid-like interstellar objects, but also for the formation of a single Oumuamua. The concept also explains Oumuamua's odd behavior. The strangeness is extreme and multifaceted. Oumuamua, for example, is quite lengthy, like a giant space cigar. Astronomers had never observed a cosmic object with such a shape before. Furthermore, Oumuamua experienced non-gravitational acceleration throughout its passage through our neighborhood, a motion that cannot be explained to tugging from the Sun, Jupiter, or other large bodies. Such motion can be induced by cometary outgassing, which pushes an object in this direction and acts similarly to thrusters on a spacecraft. Oumuamua, on the other hand, showed no evidence of outgassing, no observable tail or a coma, even though most scientists assumed the interloper was a comet. Finally, detecting Oumuamua at all is unusual and instructive, given how big space is, how long it takes to cross interstellar gulfs, and how haphazard our search for such bodies has been thus far. Finding even a single Oumuamua implies a truly massive population of comparable objects. Many more such things studied may be our best shot for understanding Oumuamua, which has long since rocketed out into the dark depths of the outer solar system. It will be very intriguing to watch if any future interstellar objects exhibit Oumuamua-like properties as they are identified in the coming years. Number 13. Butt Crack Rock. While humans have not discovered evidence of life on Mars, several strange items have been detected on the red planet by keen observers. NASA rovers, including Perseverance, have returned images from Mars for human analysis. A boulder with a butt crack shape was discovered by the Perseverance rover. I guess space enthusiasts are so bored with attempting to locate life in space that their imaginations run wild even when they spot a rock. Number 12. Ulfberth Sword. The Vikings were among the most fearsome warriors of all time, and the chosen handful wielded the ultimate weapon, a sword that was nearly 1,000 years ahead of its time. However, the secrets of the super sword's conception, production, and use have been kept concealed for generations. The Ulfberth sword was a groundbreaking high-tech blade as well as a work of art, created utilizing a procedure unknown to the Vikings' opponents. Some consider it to be one of the greatest swords ever crafted, and it remains a terrifying weapon more than a millennium after its last combat. But how did the Ulfberth's intricate recipe come to be created by expert swordsmiths of the Middle Ages, and what part did it play in history? So far, no one has succeeded in forging a metallurgically precise Ulfberth. The Ulfberth, which was manufactured between 800 and 1000 AD, provided advantages as a weapon. In the pandemonium of Viking combat, its combination of power, lightness, and flexibility symbolized the perfect marriage of form and function. Thousands of Viking swords have since been recovered, most of which were discovered in rivers or excavated from cemeteries in Scandinavia and Northern Europe. Only 171 are designated Ulfberth, with the majority being corroded bones of once majestic blades, further obscuring the mysteries of what some experts consider the supreme weapon of the strongest warriors. Number 11. USS Princeton UFO. Two U.S. servicemen who witnessed military planes collide with UFOs off the coast of California have revealed how unknown officials seized footage from the incident. Gary Vuris and Patrick Hughes were two of the 5 naval sailors who saw unexplained flying objects discovered by warships 160 kilometers off the coast of California. When radar spotted an object falling 24,000 meters from the sky and rocketing straight back up, Navy FA-18 Hornet fighter jets performing a training exercise were informed. One pilot spotted a 12-meter-long item shaped like a tic-tac hanging above the water. The UFO then began a series of airborne maneuvers that astounded the pilots of one of the most advanced military aircraft in operation. The U.S. Navy confirmed the validity of the film of its pilots witnessing an unidentified aerial phenomenon earlier this year. Both Vuris and Hughes, who were aboard the USS Princeton and USS Nimitz at the time of the encounter, saw the UFOs on their ships' Advanced Aegis Radar Tracking System. They claimed that people they didn't recognize boarded their ships and confiscated hard disks containing the film shortly after it was recorded. For 13 years, the amazing occurrence in which advanced U.S. Navy planes were outflowed by UFOs went virtually undetected. The Nimitz encounters sparked widespread global curiosity. There could be more film, possibly more interesting video, on the confiscated hard disks than the 1 minute and 16 seconds of footage already released. Number 10. Abandoned Space Station. Are there any abandoned space stations in the universe? Is that even possible? Russia stated its intention to leave the ISS in 2024 to build its own space station in July 2022. Many space stations have been decommissioned, including the USSR's Salyuts, Russia's Mir, NASA's Skylab, and China's Tiangong-1 and Tiangong-2. The space station you see in our thumbnail is a 3D model of a fictitious space station created by an artist. It's a well-detailed model and surprisingly realistic. Number 9. Cube-shaped mystery house. While traversing Von Karman crater on the moon's far side, China's Yutu-2 rover observed a mysterious object on the horizon. Yutu-2 discovered a cube-shaped object on the horizon to the north and around 260 feet away in November on the 36th lunar day of the mission. They call the thing a mystery hut, although this was just a placeholder word, not an exact description. Scientists have indicated a considerable interest in the item, and Yutu-2 is now anticipated to spend the next 2 to 3 lunar days traversing lunar regolith and avoiding craters to obtain a closer look, so more updates are possible. A big boulder excavated by an impact event is one possible explanation for the shape. So no, it's not an obelisk or aliens, but it's something to investigate, albeit difficult to determine at the present time. However, enormous boulders can be extracted by impacts as witnessed by the Chang'e 3 mission, which launched 8 years ago. On January 3, 2019, the solar-powered U-22 and Chang'e 4 lander made the first ever landing on the moon's far side, and the rover has been rolling through the 115-mile-wide Juan Carmen crater ever since. Chang'e 4, as the name implies, is China's fourth moon mission and the second to land a rover on the moon. Chang'e's 1 and 2 were orbiters, with Chang'e 3 landing on the moon's near side with the first U-2 rover. China has also launched the Chang'e 5 T1 test mission and the Chang'e 5 lunar sample return mission around the moon. Number 8. USO. A treasure hunter found an incredible unexplained discovery deep beneath the Bermuda Triangle, which he claims could be the earliest evidence of an extraterrestrial visit to Earth hundreds of years ago. Daryl Miklos, an explorer, has been searching for shipwrecks in the Caribbean using secret blueprints developed by his close buddy and legendary NASA astronaut Gordon Cooper. However, his team has discovered something he feels would stun the globe. Miklos dove in the Bahamas to investigate what he thought was an ancient shipwreck, using maps created by Cooper in the 1960s to discover more than 100 magnetic anomalies in the Caribbean. Instead, the seasoned treasure hunter discovered a strange edifice unlike anything he'd ever seen. The massive, unidentified submerged object, or USO, had 15 300-foot-long obtrusions protruding from its sides. They were filming a sequence in which he was seated in a two-man submersible. They were in the Bahamas on an English shipwreck hunt, possibly connected to Sir Francis Drake. He was attempting to identify shipwreck material based on one of Gordon's anomaly readings when he discovered something that stood out and surprised him. It was unlike anything he'd ever seen in relation to shipwreck stuff. It was just too large for that. Cooper claimed that these are extraterrestrial vehicles and their crews were visiting Earth from other worlds that were plainly more technologically advanced than Earth. He lived with a secret for many years, and a secrecy imposed on all professionals and astronauts. It is now known that every day in the United States, the radar equipment captures objects of unknown form and composition. He sincerely believed in what he saw and sought to communicate it in such a way that people would believe it. And he realized that his background as a rocket scientist at NASA made him more believable than most. Nonetheless, Cooper was frequently criticized for sharing his views on extraterrestrial activity. Number 7. Allan Hills 84001. Allan Hills 84001 is a shard of a Martian meteorite discovered on December 27, 1984, in the Allan Hills of Antarctica by an ANSMET team of American meteorite hunters. ALH 84001 is assumed to have been born on Mars. It does not, however, fit into any of the previously known SNC groupings. It weighed 4.3 pounds when discovered. In 1996, a group of scientists discovered features in the meteorite that resembled small fossils of bacteria, implying that these species evolved on Mars as well. The assertions instantly made news across the world, culminating in a speech by U.S. President Bill Clinton at the time about the probable finding. These assertions were controversial from the start, and the wider scientific community eventually rejected the hypotheses after all the odd properties in the meteorite were explained without necessitating the presence of life. Despite the lack of conclusive evidence of Martian life, the initial study and the massive scientific and public attention it generated are regarded as watershed moments in the history of the emerging science of astrobiology. Number 6. Tabby's Star. Tabby's Star is an F-type main sequence star located around 1470 light-years from Earth in the constellation Cygnus. The discovery was achieved using data from the Kepler Space Telescope, which detected exoplanets by observing fluctuations in the brightness of distant stars. Alien megastructures have piqued the interest of scientists. Tabby's Star was one such huge draw. The strange fading of light incident has been the topic of numerous observations. Tabby's Star has long been a source of fascination and investigation in the scientific community, with astronomers attempting to determine why it experiences irregular episodes of brightening and dimming. Astronomers have speculated for years about scenarios ranging from comet storms to alien megastructures. The cause of the dust that has engulfed Tabby's Star remains unknown. Its behavior, causing dips of different severity and timing, differs from what scientists would expect from clumps of material around the star on a regular basis, which should dim the star at predictable intervals as they swing around in orbit. Number 5. King Tut's meteorite. King Tutankhamun, or King Tut for short, became emperor of ancient Egypt when he was only 9 years old, more than 3,300 years ago. He died about a decade later, bringing an end to a forgettable rule. The only noteworthy aspect of the boy king is his death, especially his burial. British archaeologists discovered King Tut's tomb in 1922 after years of excavation, and nothing could have prepared them for the wonderful things they discovered inside. Tut's tomb was stocked with valuable items to assist the pharaoh on his trip into the afterlife. There were other wonderful items such as a gold and colorful glass, crook and flail, intricate pieces of jewelry, musical instruments, and even board games. This incredible collection of treasures rapidly elevated King Tut to the status of the world's most famous pharaoh. Archaeologists discovered 2 exquisite daggers among these unparalleled riches. One made almost entirely of gold, the other of iron with a gold hilt and sheath. While the gold blade is appropriate for a man of King Tut's stature, the iron dagger appears baffling at first glance given that this was still the Bronze Age, and craftsmen had yet to perfect the metallurgical procedures required to work with iron ore's high melting temperature. However, subsequent analysis using contemporary analytical equipment revealed that the iron dagger was made from a meteorite rather than inaccessible iron ore sources. Given the historical backdrop, this makes sense. A French expert demonstrated in 2017 that all iron utilized during the Bronze Age was meteoric. As it turns out, space artifacts aren't as common as we may expect. In other words, the boy king's blade was literally extraterrestrial, a fitting send-off for a king who was supposed to be descended from divinity. Number 4. Plastic on Mars. Not only are humans ruining the Earth with litter, but it appears that our waste is also leaving an imprint on distant worlds. Human litter was recently discovered on Mars by a NASA rover, demonstrating how far and wide the influence of human trash can be. Though the debris appears to be a sparkling piece of foil, it is part of a thermal blanket that was used to control temperatures on the rover's exterior. According to NASA, the Mars Perseverance rover photographed the debris with its right Mastcam Z camera. Perseverance was supposed to be seeking for ancient life, but instead found a piece of garbage. Finding this there is surprising, given that the rover's descent stage crashed about 2 kilometers away from this piece of blanket. Was this item carried here by the wind, or did it settle here after that? NASA was perplexed. It is troubling regardless of how the essay ended up where it did. Same idea that guides campers and hikers when they spend time in the great outdoors should guide space exploration. Leave no trace. Hopefully, this will inspire future rover engineers to go to great pains to tightly secure all heat blankets to their spacecraft. Although this incident of space pollution was undoubtedly an accident, leaving human-made debris behind is the norm in most cases of space research. Number 3. CFB-DSIR 2149. A team of researchers from the University of Montreal and their European colleagues discovered a wandering planet, which is a planet that is not in orbit around a star. The lack of a bright star next to this planet star allowed the team to explore its atmosphere in great depth. Wandering planets are planets that have no gravitational attraction to a star. Several artifacts of this type have been identified in recent years, but no valid age estimate could corroborate their existence. As a result, they cannot be classified as planets or brown dwarfs by astronomers. Brown dwarfs are failed stars because their core nuclear processes never trigger. This is the first solitary planet not gravitationally connected to a star with known mass, temperature, and age. This long-awaited result confirms ideas of star and planet formation. It also supports hypotheses that say the number of orphan items of this type is far bigger than experts believe. This item was discovered during a study that spanned an area 1,000 times the size of the full moon. Experts examined hundreds of millions of stars and planets and discovered only one wandering planet close to us. These items aren't inherently uncommon, but they only see those nearby and must sort through an astronomical number of more distant sources. It's like looking for a needle in 1,000 haystacks. Number 2. Sikhote-Alin meteorite. The Sikhote-Alin meteorite fall remains the greatest meteorite shower witnessed in contemporary times. On February 12, 1947, it occurred in eastern Siberia. The fireball traveled from north to south in broad daylight and dispersed into the Earth's atmosphere at 10:38 a.m. local time. The debris blanketed an elliptical region of 1.6 square kilometers on the Sikhote-Alin Mountains' snow-covered western spurs. Russian experts gathered several eyewitness accounts from up to 180 kilometers away from the fall and conducted considerable research on the event. Sikhote-Alin is now one of the best-known meteorite falls in history thanks to their efforts. The pre-atmospheric size of the Sikhote corpse that hit the Earth was estimated to be 1,000 metric tons and more than 70 tons when dust was included. The meteorite was completely broken up at an altitude of only 4 to 6 kilometers. Number 1. 2022 AE1. A recently found asteroid appeared to be on a collision course with Earth next year, but orbit recalculation revealed that it will miss our planet. The 230-foot wide asteroid 222 EA1 was spotted on January 7th and alarmed space defenders since it appeared to be heading towards Earth on July 4th, 2023, too soon to undertake a deflection mission. In January of this year, scientists discovered the asteroid with the highest Palermo scale rating they'd seen in more than a decade. When EA1 resurfaced in 2022, further observations altered the equations, eventually confirming that the space rock would avoid our planet traveling at a safe distance of around 6.2 million miles away. That's more than 20 times the distance between Earth and the Moon. Engineers believe that if huge asteroids are found early enough, they can be diverted to avoid a dangerous collision. Many of these discoveries were fascinating, but for me, the Piri Reis map was the most interesting item. Which one was your favorite? Why don't you let us know in the comments below? Well, that's it for now. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Check out our other videos and subscribe to be part of the fun. Click on the notification icon so you can see our new videos as soon as they're uploaded. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.